And welcome to Greg Kelly Reports. I am Joe Pinion in for Greg this evening. Well, a woman burned alive, a cop killer's sentence commuted, a serial killer and a murderer of children given a second chance to live until his golden years. Yes, folks, welcome to the final wretched days of Joseph Robinette Biden's America. January 20th and the second term of Donald J. Trump can't come fast enough. You see, today, on the eve of Christmas Eve, the same man who used the power of the American presidency to help his own son, Hunter Biden, escape any and all accountability, robbed countless American families of justice and commuted 37 federal death row inmates. 37 of the worst, the rotten of the rotten. With the stroke of a pen, Joe Biden has given them a new lease on life, literally. See, this is a picture of Navy Petty Officer Second Class Amanda Snell. She raised her hand to serve her country. She was prepared to die in service of this nation. Instead, her life was stolen by a brother in arms, by this pathetic excuse for a man, Jorge Avila Torres, a disgraced Marine who, by his own admission, snuck into Officer Snell's room, tied her up, and then used the power cord of her own laptop to strangle her to death. See, nobody deserves to die that way. Least of all, any woman who raises her hand to serve on behalf of a grateful nation. And today, the memory of that brave naval petty officer second class was treated like a second-class citizen. Today, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America said that the life of Amanda Snell mattered less than the unhinged political sensibilities of his morally bankrupt Democratic Party. And what's worse, Amanda Snell is not the only person that this monster Jorge Avila Torres murdered. He also killed these two beautiful little girls, 8-year-old Laura Hobbs and 9-year-old Crystal Tobias. He stabbed them to death, both of them, on Mother's Day in 2005. And for every Mother's Day since then, their families have had to live with that pain. The pain that the anniversary of the day that made them a family coincides with the anniversary of the nightmare that destroyed their very existence. You see, sane people do not commute the sentences of monsters like Jorge Avila Torres. But it is quite clear that this president and his party have lost their America-hating mind a very long time ago. And so it would be one thing if this was just about Joe Biden. But this moral rot, this disdain for the suffering of everyday American citizens, it is palpable all across the political left. Yesterday, in New York City, a woman was burned alive on a New York City subway. She fell asleep, as countless millions have done before her. I have done it myself. And her reward, death by fire, while the trains keep rolling on by. And so, of course, par for the course, while her body was still smoldering on New York City public transit, there was the governor of the once great state of New York, Madame La La Land herself, Kathy Hochul, Johnny on the spot, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, reminding us all about all the safety precautions that have been taken to keep the people that use New York City transit safe. Not a thought or a prayer appears to have entered her withering mind, or the mind of the trained monkey, who will be rewarded as having posted the worst timed tweet of the year. So yes, we should be really excited about January 20th, where the 45th president of these United States, Donald J. Trump, is sworn in as our 47th president for our great nation. But Donald Trump's victory on November 5th is not the end of our season of discontent. It is a day in America where our mourning for America gives way to the light that delivers action. We cannot continue to find common ground with people who think that commuting cop killers is mercy, as Joe Biden did this morning. We cannot find common ground with those whose response to Tren de Aragua taking over whole buildings in Colorado is to say, don't worry, it's just a couple buildings. We cannot keep finding common ground with people who look at 320,000 missing children, many of whom we know have been trafficked for sex by criminal cartels, and say we can't officially classify them as missing until they fail to show up for their court date. Not anymore. So yes, mourning in America. It starts January 20th when Donald J. Trump takes the oath of office, when Tom Homan fires up the largest deportation apparatus the world has ever seen. But it will not end until we have dug out, once and for all of this left-wing insanity, root and stem. May our nation never be forced to relive the failures of Joseph Robinette Biden and his cohorts ever again.